Okay, so we're back for another episode of the showroom with yours truly. And today, my guest is none other than fashion designer Mwanza Glenn.
All right. So if you don't know me, my name is Mwanza Glenn. Creative, performing artist, creative artist, just an artist in general.
Yeah.
Just an artist in general.
So let's talk about your early life growing up in Georgetown.
My life, simple. I'm a product of a single parent, household.
Yeah.
I'm a mommy's boy.
So, okay. Sibling?
Yes, I have an older brother. I have siblings also on my father's side, but
Okay.
my mom had two kids. I'm of course the baby
Yeah.
and the cuter of the two.
Okay.
Simple upbringing. We moved around a lot, so I had some of Albertown. We were living sometime in East Rhinebelt.
Oh, I live.
We did
Which part of Alberton, by the way? Which street? Do you remember?
Sixth and Light.
Oh, 6th and Line. I grew up in 3rd.
Third.
Yeah, I grew up in
Okay.
3rd Street. Yeah.
Albertown, we did Kingston somewhat, and then later on we did Sophia. So
Yeah.
we moved a lot, but growing up, the artistic upbringing has always been an element in my life.
Yeah.
From a young age, identity was pinned upon me. It's a thing that you find young people now are getting. I was born into it. That's why you find the name Mwanza.
Yeah, in Mwanza.
And just how authentic and Afrocentric the name is. When you meet the person, it's the same. It's the same thing. Because identity was a major part in my upbringing. So,
oh no, so I was actually. Do you know the meaning of your name?
I can't give you the exact meaning, but it has a lot to do with creativity.
Creativity,
right?
Gotcha.
I forget it a lot. I'm sorry, and I'm normally asked this question, so but it has something to do with creativity, though. It's also a huge city in Tanzania.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which is one of my bucket list countries.
To go to where?
Zanzibar.
Yeah, Zanzibar's on my list.
Yes, definitely. So simple upbringing, identity was major. And when I look back at my life now, it makes sense. Even in church, dancing was a part of it.
Yeah.
In church, the Afrocentric identity of knowing self, of knowing where you came from, of appreciating self, of knowing the value of a name. These things was big in my upbringing.
Gotcha.
So while my upbringing was very, very simple, single parent, so I had to learn to cook early because mom was like, "Yo, I am working. I'm bringing in the food. The least you could do is
Cook it.
Cook." So
I gotta cook.
like because of that, I can't eat nonsense from people because I can cook. I know my way around the kitchen. I love baking. Laundry, like even up to now, the only other person I'm confident in doing my laundry is my mom. Because if it's not done by either myself or her, then it's not done good.
It's not done the right way. I know you.
Right. So very simple upbringing. Identity at the pedestal of that. But cool, run around, play Sophia, swim in the blocker, fruit trees, teach people fruits from the tree.
Yeah, I remember.
It was just cool. It was just cool. It was a vibe. It was a vibe.
So, like, what were some of the hobbies and activities you were into, let's say, as a teenager?
Teenager, in my teenage life, dance was a major part of it, like a major part of it. While even before teenage life, we were doing dance in church, and it started there. And I'm, like even before teenage, like remembering a lot of culture nights at church. We would have culture nights.
Yeah.
Where we have design creation culture group. They would do skits, they would do dances, they will do so many things culturally.
Where was the church, by the way?
House of Israel.
Oh, House of Israel.
Right.
Okay.
And because of that, was strong points in my life.
Yeah.
Like even before, like there's people who know me as a dancer and not as a designer.
Oh.
And there's also people who know me as a designer and they don't know the dance part of me.
Oh, wow.
All right. So like, dance has been a major role. I got accepted into the National School of Dance sometime in 2003, 2004.
Okay.
And because of my ability, I was gained admission into the National Dance Company.
Nice.
So I have been around dance forever. Through that, I've grew fond to choreography. That's the methodology behind the creation of dances
Yeah.
and creation of choreography and the researches that goes behind all of this. Through that lineage,
Yeah.
I've copped a few accolades. Best choreographer award.
Okay, brag. Okay, keep
Even
bragging. Let it.
I mean,
Let them know. Let them know. You gotta. You gotta let
yes.
them know. what you have.
Even through that, this year at the Children Mash Dance Competition,
Yeah.
within the 14 to 17 group category, best choreography again.
Nice.
But dance has been my first love and will always be my love. It's like my kind of escape when designing is becoming overwhelming and we just need a breather.
Yeah.
Dance is my go-to. I've always been exploring, so I didn't find it to be difficult, but I was always eager to learn. I remember Michelle demonstrating on the machine, even when Francois Sydney was helping us because he was working with Michelle.
Oh,
there.
nice. Okay.
Right. I was always eager. I remember when Michelle was on the machine and then she used a straight stitch machine and she went through with it. And then upon meeting the end, she used the button that would reverse the machine and then take it forward. So I was like, why every time you start the stitch or you end the stitch, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
She's like, that's how you knot. Like the
Oh.
knot that you would put on your needle and thread before you start sewing.
Yes.
So hold it in place.
Yeah.
That's what, so, like those stuff I was very knowledgeable to identify as to why is this being done. There must be a reason. And I remember asking her about it. And, so it wasn't difficult for me because it was something new and I'm always adventurous.
Okay, that's pretty dope. So after Facts and Roses, that's when you started to get into it more seriously, you would say?
That's when I remember we had to present a whole portfolio,
Yeah.
a few sketches and what's not. And for some reason, I thought that I was the only buddy in Guyana sketching. I was like, But then it was just so beautiful to see all the young people, guys and young ladies, they're all sketching. Some who sketch Clinton. Oh my God. Clinton Duncan has been doing fashion illustration a while.
Yeah, he's very good at
And
sketching.
I remember from then seeing his work. I was like, yo, this is dope.
Yeah.
My work back then to his was cheese to chalk, bro.
Different.
It was cheese to chalk.
He was on a different level back then.
Fantastic. Clinton has always been somebody who was very, very fashion forward, as in terms of, names in the business, aesthetically, Clinton has always been fashion forward.
Yeah,
Always.
you have people like that indeed that are very much in it, can do really good at
And
sketch.
even at a young age,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. So when did you started to think that I can start my own brand? I can have my own
When did I
space.
think that I can have my own brand? I can't remember the exact point because it started from, I remember, I think it's even earlier than that. One of the stories I remember, I can't remember exactly starting my own brand, but I remember my first bride.
First bride, nice.
My first bride. Coincidentally, today when we were doing the recording, her grandmother passed.
Oh, sorry to hear about
A
that.
very, very close, a family. And
Condolences to her and the family.
yeah, but looking back at then, had I been in her place, I don't even think I would have chosen me to do it. I mean, weddings are huge.
It's huge.
But I don't know what she saw, but she trusted and believed. And the results was phenomenal.
Now, was it traditional or African inspired?
Of course it wasn't traditional.
That's what I was going. Okay.
Of course African inspired.
African inspired.
And that was my first bride. And I was like, okay. I mean, I know what I wanted to do, but I didn't trust myself so much. But I'm like, if people go so far to believe in your process and trust your process, it's about time you start. And even to now, it's still something with me. Your wife is a designer.
Yes.
So
she
you
is.
understand sometime our process.
Yeah.
And all through, what you want to do, you sew, you sketch, you start bringing it to life. and you still question your process. You still question if your client is going to be appreciative of what's happening. You still question, even doing the work, you're like, why did I give myself so much work?
Yep.
You know,
Taking so many orders.
and you know, up until now, like I am satisfied, or I'm at ease
Yeah.
upon my first fitting when the client come and he or she's like, yo, this is lit, bro. I am feeling it. It's not even finishes yet, but I can dig this. You know, and I remember her first fitting, and then she was like, I was like, okay, maybe I can take this further. Maybe I can, you know, take this a step further, you know.
How did you feel when you saw her in the gown for the
Oh,
first time?
I mean, like, so one of the things that a lot of people don't know about me, I don't want to say I'm shy. I do clothing. I like to dress good, but sometimes I hate the attention that comes with it.
You're more reserved.
I am more reserved personally, but sometimes what I wear does not send that message.
Yeah.
While I like to look good, I hate when people make a big fuss of it. Oh my God, we all should be looking appropriately. It should be
You look-
normal to look good.
Yeah, you look extra good though. It's funny because like when we go to an event, a fashion-based event, like a fashion show or whatever, we're always like, oh, I wonder what the Mwanza gonna show up with today.
There's a lot of people who tell me that, but I just want to go back in my shell when it's just when the compliments are coming.
Yeah.
Right?
It's all good compliments though.
True. But I, like, then is when I'd be like, you know. But I remember being at that wedding, and, you know, compliments were coming. And, you know, I was like, oh, thanks. You know, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, my mom was with me at the wedding, and I was like, I think I want to go home. It was very uncomfortable, to the point where you are being honored for your good work and your goodness, right?
Yeah. You should enjoy the moment and just live it.
That too. I am still working on that, but you know, I think that was one of the pivotal moments when I remember, you know, this can definitely be a thing. I think just after that, I did a collection at Fashion Week. That was 2010.
Oh, nice.
Just after that, I think she got married in August, and Fashion Week, I think, was October.
Was that the one that was kept at the Princess Hotel?
No,
That was one that kept at
that wasn't Princess. That
Pegasus.
one was Pegasus.
That was Pegasus. Okay.
Pegasus.
That was
Well, you were OG from Fashion Week.
yeah, cause, and I was at that one, but I wasn't on the stage. I was at the stage of the one at Princess Hotel.
Princess. I think that was the inaugural event.
That was the first.
That was the first one with the walkway in the
in the pool.
In the pool.
In the pool. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did that one. We closed
Yeah.
off the show with Melissa Payne. That was amazing. We jumped in the water.
Turn up.
Yeah. It was,
Good days.
it
The
was-
good old days.
It was a good fashion show.
Right. And you know, I think just after that I did Fashion Week. You know, and then that year, that was a pivotal year because I was working qualifying in 2010.
Okay.
6 months. And again, I just spoke about monotonous sewing and monotonous anything. Sitting at a machine doing the same thing. Hello, good day. I'm Mwanza. How can I assist you today? Hello, good day. I'm Mwanza. And
Every day, all day.
I'm like, bro, I can't do this. I can't be stationed in an office doing this every day. The same introduction, the same. It was just depressing. I am sorry to those who do it.
Yeah.
But my mind, like, I could remember being penalized at work for sketching. I was answering calls and I was sketching.
Just sketching away.
And I left Qualfin in September.
Okay.
HR was like, why are you leaving? I'm like, oh, I'm starting UG, so I have to go full time. That was a lie. But, you know, I just wanted, you know, something different. And I left Qualfin in September, and I did Fashion Week in October. And that is when I was like, you know, I think this is me. This is where I want to be. I don't know what's going to happen after today, but this is an investment I want to make, and I can see this working.
Yeah, that was a good idea doing that. What was your first experience like at Fashion Week? What do you remember about it?
Fashion Week was good. It was a collaboration with me and another designer. But it was good. The experience was good.
Yeah.
You know, just being there, seeing the work from sketch to bringing it to life.
Bring it
you
to
know,
life, yeah.
and then to see the models who play an integral role in our presentation.
Correct.
To
Yep.
bring that to the floor. It was just good to see that come into life.
And that was your
That-
first. That was your first
First collection.
First collection you did?
First collection, first fashion week, first.
Just imagine your first collection was shown at Guyana Fashion Week.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that's some bragging rights right there.
Eh, all right.
How do you go about sourcing your fabrics and material for your collections?
Well, sourcing the fabric has been, I think anybody who lives in Guyana, that's always hard to do.
Yeah.
Having to pay all of those duties on and taxes on stuff that is coming in. Even when you're like, I would try to get a lot of fabric when I'm on vacation.
On vacation.
And even to still then when you have to pay those 3-4 extra bags.
Yeah, you gotta
it is
bring
still
it
somewhat, But one of the things that I find, I remember the last collection I did a few years ago. I remembered a fabric I made. So it was a regular fabric, but then I cut it in a certain way, treat it in a certain way, and then do some textures on it, and then reapply it to the fabric.
Okay.
So it wasn't based on what I bought from the store. You would have never known that
was the same fabric.
And
yeah.
I remember being in Manhattan and saw something just like that selling in store. So the takeaway from that experience is that although we live in a place that don't have a lot of A-grade fabric and certain fabric that we want to use to elevate our work, what we have to do, we have to get down and make those.
And make the fabric yourself.
So sometimes it applies much more work for you, the designer, but I like the journey it takes you through.
Yeah.
You somewhat there's a sense of gratitude knowing that I took this fabric from this stage to the next. Knowing that we come from a country where there might be other designers who might find this exact fabric.
Exact same
But when
fabric.
it's presented, you will never see the same. Like, I did a show with Derek Moore some time ago, and we both had the same fabric in our collection.
Yep.
But Derek had the fabric on the right side, and I used the fabric on the wrong side.
Gotcha.
So it looked like two different fabric, but I know the fabric because I hated the right side.
Okay, I got you.
But the wrong side was the perfect color, So, it's kind of like things like that, though. So while searching for fabric is hard, it's just a thing that we have to deal with.
You have to.
However, we have fabric here, and I love to shop for fabric in the hardware section.
In the hardware section.
The place where people don't go to shop for fabric to make clothing. I love to shop in the hardware section.
I remember we shopped in the drapery section for fabric.
Love that.
Yeah, you find
love
good
that.
fabrics in the drapery
upholstery.
Yep.
Love.
Yeah, I don't think we have that many options. Obviously, being with my fiance and I help her out, we go and do shopping for fabrics. I see there's like the Starbrook Market, there's Guyana stores and a few other places, but it's not a lot. And then when you travel, you go overseas, you see all these different textures, all the
And
different
then the
designs.
prices in the like especially in Nigeria, like the prices, like, oh my God, like I've bought fabrics that I see in Nigeria in Manhattan for $70 and $80, and then you are seeing it like for 2,000 Guyana dollars, $10.
Yeah, wow, I see that.
But again, when you pack your bag, the duties and the travels and it always come back.
It
but
adds up. It adds up. It definitely does. Okay. And now, after designing for so long, you've made, how many collections have you made thus far?
Child, I can't remember.
You've made countless collections.
A few.
When did you remember getting into the pageantry section of the fashion industry?
Well, I kind of like showing, like, because of my theatrical background, I've always find shows or stage events a part of the brand.
Yeah.
Even when I do choreographies, I love designing the costume because as a fashion designer and a dancer, I understand the fluidity of fabric. I understand the characteristics of fabric.
Yeah.
So then I know what would flow. I know how this fabric would work under the lights. So show clothing or pageantry or clothing that be in the theater or on stage has always been a part of it. I think possibly the first pageant I did, it was I think a pageant in Eccles. It was like a teenager pageant in Eccles.
Okay, a teen pageant.
Yeah, I even did Talented Teen.
in the days. Um, that's when Jillian had her store on Willow's Bridal.
Okay.
That was on Hatfield Street, a few buildings from
Camp
no, a few buildings from the well-known lawyer, the lawyer
on Hatfield Street.
on
Niger Hughes.
Nigel, like a few
Yeah, Niger
doors
Hughes. Okay.
down from there. You know, but you know, just to see how lights act on clothing, I like the whole ordeal with it. Mother and Daughter is one of my most fun pageants to do
Oh,
because
nice.
it's a little more than the regular pageants.
You can do a
It's
little bit more
fun
with the
it's
garments.
a little garments, the transformations that happen with the garments, and just to see, you know, these two beautiful people, mother and daughter, come in,
Yeah.
and then you create for them, and then they go on, and then there's a whole choreography on stage, and then they get to do this. It's just fun. It's just fun.
And you've taken part in Mother Daughter, Talented Teen. What about Miss Guyana Universe?
Miss Guyana Universe, Miss Guyana World.
Nice.
When I,
Jam Zone.
Jam Zone.
Nice.
I did possibly all of
All
them.
the major pageants.
All of the major all the major pageants. Miss Culture Queen.
Culture Queen. Nice.
Miss Guyana Renaissance.
How was that experience working with the contestants of the pageant? Like, how do you select a contestant that you want to work with, like a delegate?
Well,
How they reach out to you?
Do designers select who they want to work with?
That is very
I mean,
true. I guess who can
we
afford you?
offer- We
Who can afford you? They reach out.
we offer a service, and I guess people select us based on what we do and what
Yeah.
they like.
Yes.
You know, everybody got their own taste, their own ordeal, you know, their own appeal.
Yeah.
And you know, other than that, you know, people just like working with people who they have a sense of vibe or energy from. 'Cause that's another major thing too.
Yeah.
Energy is a huge thing. You know, you would hear stories from, like, sometimes during my consultation sessions with my clients, you would hear stories of clients with working with other creatives.
Yeah.
And I always try to detour it. I am like, I apologize for that, but how can we make it better? You know, like I
don't lie. I like to hear the stories.
no.
I like
no,
hearing the
Orlando,
stories.
no.
'Cause some of the stories are funny. You know what I mean?
It is, and some of them I know, but no,
Yeah.
I don't want to entertain it.
Nah.
Mind you, I would be laughing big,
I be
but
laughing at
I
it.
always try to detour it. I'm like, no, we are not going to do this.
Have you had any bad experiences with contestants? Don't call no names.
With contestants,
Or pageantry contestants, I would say. Have you ever gotten paid
pageantry.
all your money or no? Some
I mean,
persons.
there is some drama sometimes. But you know what? I believe if people have their finances to give you, they will.
They will. Gotcha.
Like, I always try to assess these situations from a personal perspective. Had I been in it, how or elements that would somewhat cause this to happen.
Yep.
Of course, I had instances where clients paid me after the event was finished.
That happens.
You know, and you know, but it's business.
It is.
And you know, life is risky, and if you're not taking a risk, then what are you doing? There's times when I was paid way before the pageant. There's times when I was paid way after the pageant.
Yeah.
I am thankful for those who honor their obligations and honor that. You know, but you know, things happen because of reasons.
Things happen.
And you know, sometimes people are promised so many things, and it's out of it. I don't want to think nobody can wickedly have stuff or have what belongs to you, and just hold it. There might be evil people out there.
You would be very surprised.
There
in
might
one,
be,
yeah.
but I don't want to think people are so evil.
Yeah.
I like to always
Give them the credit.
given, you know. But you know, I remember like one of my ugly experiences with a client.
Yep. I like these stories.
If she's looking at it, you know, I love you. And I remember her I did something for her. This is in the rookie days.
Yeah.
I don't get those drama now. I don't get those drama now. It was in the rookie days, and I did a piece to her. She actually saw a piece I did in a collection. Yes.
Okay.
And she ordered a piece, but she wanted it in a different color.
Got you.
Show her what is available. Bam, bam, bam. We okay on fabric sampling, sketch, everything. Bam, bam, bam. We met again for her first fitting. The first fitting was immaculate. She was excited. She was in love. She was like, "Oh my God, I feel so beautiful," you know.
Nice.
And then, like about 2 hours after, she gave me a call. And man said, "That's the dress you are giving me." I'm like, "Hello."
Can we just have a conversation and you just see
We just met here.
you just met and had a conversation?
And she was like, this and this dress this and this dress that. And then I'm like, but you were just here and like this wasn't your aura. And no. She went on. No. And I'm like I don't understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And then she went on and then she started with the ugly languages.
Oh, okay.
And I let it known, like, I said, yo, this phone was bought by me, and I will say who and what addressed me in what manner.
Yeah.
And if you can refrain from that, then I'll have to end the call. And I'm always thankful to my upbringing at Qualifon.
Yeah.
I know my telephone etiquette.
Customer service, yeah.
Customer service. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like that's one experience like I wouldn't see as a fail, you know, but
Yeah.
like, yeah. And I would, you know, and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to call the police." I'm like, "Mom, you have a good day." And, you
Yeah.
know, and I got off the phone. So I took it up on my own. I'm like, okay, maybe she won maybe some gems on it because it didn't had nothing sparkly.
Okay.
But if you want it, based on what we said, the initial design had nothing sparkly.
You could have
If you
mentioned
felt
that.
as though this might need it, if I can do it, I will.
Yeah.
If I tell you that it will incur an expense, I'll let you know. But you can't expect me to read your mind. Anyway, I went on my own and I just add a few gems
Yeah.
of my own, you know?
Okay. And was she happy with that?
While I was adding the gem, like the following day, I got a call. "Oh, this is Corporal somebody from CID. La 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 la." I'm like, "Okay, sir, how may I help you?" What time, miss? What's your name? Is collecting her dress. I told her back then I didn't have a studio.
Yeah.
I used to be delivering clothing. Listen. What? To the people who I delivered clothing to, big yourself up. Because we ain't doing that anymore now. Nah, I have a few clients, a few of my classy clients.
That you would deliver to.
Who I would deliver stuff
Yeah.
to, you know. All right? And I said, you know, I told her I'll be delivering on such a date. He was like, "Okay, thank you." I'm like, that was it.
So homegirl went all the way to
Anyway,
all the way to the police.
I went at homegirl workplace the following day, and I dropped her stuff. I said, "Hi, good day, mom." She said, "Hello." I'm like, "I'm here dropping your stuff." She said, "Oh, thank you." I'm like, "Can you go in the back and just open it and just check on it and let me know that is okay?" Because I was not going to deliver something,
Yeah.
and when I leave, it's something else.
You got another phone call again.
And when she went, she came back out with smiles, and she's like, "Oh my God, Listen, there's a lot of mental ill people walking around this place,
Yeah.
disguising as okay people. So people, please be careful with these people out there.
And you definitely had your dose of it. Working at Qualifon, you definitely get a lot of funny calls.
Listen to me.
Yeah.
The cuss out I get from Americans, like, oh my God. You know, but that experience taught me how to conduct business.
Yeah.
You don't have to give the same energy that they're giving off. You're the person behind the business, so you have to know how you're presenting yourself, and you know, and just apply that.
Yeah, you're gonna have a few customers that are kind of slow, and you know what I mean by slow. You know, yeah, it happens.
I like how you put it there slow.
Yeah, they are slow. Yeah, you're gonna have a few customers. Now, was that your worst experience in the fashion game? You would say, or you had others?
Possibly one of the worst with client. Like I don't have a lot of a lot of ugly clients. I don't have ugly clients.
Oh, that's good.
I
That's
don't have
good.
ugly clients. I don't have ugly clients. Maybe one mishap after that, but after that, no. And I presented her the dress, and she,
Yeah.
you know, she liked it. But my mom, like about a few years after, she saw me. I was hustling, bustling, buying fabric or something. And she was like, hey, how are you? I'm like, hi, I'm good. She said, are you still doing the same thing? I'm like, yeah. She said, man, I want you to sew something for me. What's your number? Orlando. I called the fastest 7-digit number out of my head so far. I don't know. It's who number I gave homegirl.
She got
But
somebody's number.
homegirl got a number. I don't want to work with her anymore. No,
Yeah, nah.
no. Something is wrong with you.
That was a bad
But what I
first
like to do,
experience.
I like that I concluded the transaction
In a respectable manner.
respectable manner that she wants to hire me again.
So let's talk about who are some of the designers that you like and you look forward to seeing their collection. Guyanese, of course. Some other Guyanese designers.
Okay. All right. And I'll try to give you maybe an idea of what I like about it.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm not going to go into much. All right, one of the designers I like, and I like how they think, Isaiah.
Yep.
Isaiah is not your regular designer, and that's what I like about him. His target and his aesthetic. I don't think there's another designer in Guyana like Isaiah, and sometimes it's not understood because we live in Guyana. We live in a box, and that's why I feel before you can make certain conclusion on certain things, traveling is key.
It's very important.
Very
It
important,
opens your
especially
mind.
as an artist.
Yes.
Bro, you need to come out of the box called Guyana and see what fashion, it's about.
Yeah.
But Isaiah have worked in fashion like forever. He was doing merchandising in Trinidad, several stores.
Yeah.
So he knows styling. He knows, that's why I'm always eager to see Isaiah. He has this recycle
Bucked bead.
buckbeat
Yeah.
thingy that he does too, and I kind of like that. It's just different.
It's very different. I love it.
One of the pieces I remember was a piece he did for Keisha's show, and putting these textures together and gloves and soft and hard fabric and the metal work. I was like, bro, So Isaiah is definitely one. Of course, Naomi Murray, and I even have a really good love for Naomi Murray because she told me once that I'm very instrumental on where she is as in terms of her approach to fashion.
Oh, nice.
And I remember she modeled in one of my pieces when she was in high school. Yeah.
That was
yeah.
way back.
That's before she even know you.
Yeah.
And what so I know the brand from bow ties and bags and all of
Yes.
that to now possibly the full focus bridal brand well known in Guyana.
Yes.
I attended her show last year. I got front seat tickets. I was special invited.
You definitely were.
And it was just so beautiful to see. It was just so beautiful to see her bridal collection. And I don't know if you know, but to produce a bridal collection,
I know. Trust me. I found out last year.
child.
I was front and center.
And that's why you possibly didn't see another one in Guyana.
No.
'Cause it's so expensive. So to see those textures on stage, those structured shoulders, and the ruffle and the tulle work, it was just breathtaking. And I know the work. So it was just so beautiful to see that. Gorgeous. Keisha Edwards.
Love Keisha's work.
I love Keisha. Keisha is one of those designers who call you for one thing, and our conversations turn into 2 and 3 hours of talking.
Yeah.
Fashion related. Our takes on certain stuff, and her aesthetic is one of the designers who I really look up to, as in terms of I'm so appreciative of her academic journey where fashion is concerned.
Yeah, she's been
I
amazing.
think is possibly the only designer. Well, I know another designer who did FIT, SASI, but Keisha's much more active, and I like that.
Yes.
A very humble person, a very soft-spoken person. I've attended her shows. I've attended her galas.
Fun fact,
So-
I modeled for her first fashion show that she did
At
Hermanston's Lodge. That was her
Okay.
first ever fashion show she did. I was one of the models there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I had a
I
really
mean,
good
you
time.
have been in this donkey years, bro.
Years.
I mean, I think a lot of people don't even know that you used to model.
I know.
I don't think a lot of people
I
know
was
that.
talking to, I think, two of the models that modeled for the our fashion show last year at MRA Design Fashion Show, and these girls didn't know I was a model.
No,
They're like, you
no.
used to model? I was like, yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
how old are you? They're like,
And then when
20.
you pull up them old pictures, you're like,
Yeah,
I mean, it's a total different person. No,
different person
Total-
now. Yeah. I've gained a few pounds. Yeah, definitely.
a total different person. No, but yeah. So Naomi Marie, Keisha, there's this girl, Godlin. Godlin is another one I like, and I like Godlin because
I've never heard about Godlin, by the way.
yeah, Godlin does a lot of the. She is one of the girls who I call like a fairy. Her stuff, like she does like the detail leatherworks, macrame. She does. Well, she's an artist to start with.
Okay.
A trained artist, painter, this and that.
I'll have to look
and
into
I
that.
always see those elements into her clothing. Sitting watching her collections, like you can see a point of view. I think one of the main things I like with certain designers is their point of view.
Yeah.
You must be able to see their aesthetic. You must be able to see a piece and say, "Oh, this is giving Keisha," or "This is giving Isaiah." And sometimes it takes years to get there. It's not something that you could wake up and do. So I understand why everybody don't have it.
Yeah.
Michelle Cole, that's my girl.
Yeah. Way back.
From way back. One of the people who I used to look at. And all hopes that one day I can be. I've had a personal opportunity working with her. Her work is distinctively Michelle's, like Michelle work, that resort, luxurious, simple silhouette, splash of paint, easy cut, cute, very, very Michelle aesthetic. Please forgive me if I forget you, but I'm just calling based on what I remember.
Yeah, that's fine. You already called. I think you already did 4. One more.
Who else? Francois is another one.
Okay, Francois. Yeah.
Another one of my friends who I know his work is beautiful.
I actually have to
gorgeous.
bring Francois on the show. We can talk about his career in fashion.
Please. Gorgeous work, fluidity. Francois is a designer. I learned from Francois when I was a rookie. Francois was teaching me, helping me.
Yeah.
So I know what he do. So another designer. Oh my God, Quentin Pearson. Quentin, I am a fan of Quentin. He sews exceptionally well. I love that. You can know a Quentin piece.
Yep.
He loves the trumpet silhouette. Gorgeous. That elegant aesthetic.
He does really
And
good
then-
pageantry gowns and.
He
does good
did
pageantry gowns.
his collection with some male suits.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I
So
didn't even know
very,
this.
very well tailored suit. He is also a leathercraft artist.
Nice.
So people might know him for the dress work, but he also does leather work too. Right? So
Well,
these are these people who there's these hidden things that they do that we don't know about, but these people are trained artists.
Yeah.
Like I saw his sister a day with a handbag she had. Beautiful work, gorgeous, one of his pieces too. Who else did I forget? Any other cute ones or good ones that I like? If I forget you, please forgive me.
Oh, that's fine. You already did like 6 already. That's good.
Oh, bye.
What are some of the things that you think can make the fashion industry in Guyana better? What do you think we need?
We need so much. We need so much.
Obviously,
much.
fabrics.
So much.
Having access to like premium fabrics.
Finishings,
Yeah.
not only the fabric but the finishings. Like there's times when now we're having access to horsehair braid. There's
Yeah.
a time when we never had access to that.
Okay.
And how do you finish a garment? I had to implement ways on
How you finish it?
good. So while the lack of having premium fabric adds creativity
Yeah.
to get premium finishing,
Finishing. Yeah.
I see it as a plus somewhat. But to make it better, we need those first world finishers to get that first world product. Even machinery, like there's certain machines. Like I did an internship at Four Seasons Garment Manufacturing Company.
Oh, really? Wow,
This is a
that's nice.
Guyanese owned company in Manhattan
Wow.
that produces the row. The row is owned by the Ashley twins.
The Ashley twins, I know that. yeah.
They produce the row. I saw the production of the row garments.
So they make some of the
They
fabrics for the row.
They would have worked with Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger, and this is Guyanese. Tony, big up yourself, Tony.
Yeah.
Through the Guyana Cultural Association of New York.
Oh, I know Tony.
I did Tony.
Yeah.
Very short Indian fella.
from
pleasant.
Roger Gary.
Roger Gary.
Yeah,
friend.
Roger Gary's boy. I know Tony.
Really,
Yeah.
really, really awesome person. Beautiful person.
Yeah.
We had lunch a day, and we had I got to read his mind.
Nice.
Beautiful company. He has beautiful staff there. I did 1 week internship there. Looking at the machinery in that place.
Yeah.
We have a far way to go.
We do. We have a very, very
far way to go. But I'm so happy to know that we have Guyanese doing big things that we hardly hear about.
Yeah.
We hardly hear about. Because I didn't know that we had somebody. And then when I met Tony is the simplest, the beautifulest soul, easygoing, always willing to talk.
Yeah.
I remember he visited home to do some charity work here, and he visited my studio.
Oh, nice.
So I got to show him my garments.
Yeah.
And of course, listen to his critique, and I actually got good critiques. Especially for subsidizing the right materials.
Yeah.
For my makeups. And so definitely. So we need good machineries to do finishes. I think one of the things, while we don't have the good machineries and all of that, I think people gotta be a bit more susceptible to critiques.
Yes.
Especially when it comes from a good place and in a good way. Because there's some people can be bashy and shady.
Yeah. We know that.
If it comes from a good place, fine. But I think if you want to grow as a person, you must be humble enough to listen. If somebody, I have clients who was sewing with me when my sewing was not too well.
Okay.
I can call her name right now. A friend, a client, Marva Langevine.
Okay.
Marva know me in the rookie stage. And Marva still come and buy my garment. So she know the brand when the brand was, why are we buying this?
Yeah.
To now where it's very established. And,
It's very established.
our finishing is way
Yeah.
better. Right? So, take critique. And she said, Mwanza, I still purchase your clothing because I've seen growth.
Yes.
You understand? So taking critique is one of the things that we could do to make our brands better. So in addition to the machinery, good fabric, I think now there has been a little more appreciation from the public. Understanding the process, respecting the process. When they respect the process, they will understand when we say the price of the garment is this, and they understand why.
Yes.
Somewhat. I saw a raise in this, possibly post-COVID, when they had all of these date parties and people want fancy things. People realize to get these certain things and they want to look different. They don't want to show up at a place where 3 people wearing the same thing, 3 different colors, 3 different sizes. Because that's how these fashion stores stack them.
Yep.
You
want to be unique and stand
people
out.
realize to get custom garments, I have to take a niche above. I have to meet a certain people.
Yes.
And then there's a different quality with seamstresses.
Yeah.
And
designer.
designers.
Yes.
I'm not bashing seamstresses.
No,
because,
they're needed.
They do beautiful work.
They do.
Beautiful work. Right. But there is a way, there's a total difference. Right. And
do you think more clients are understanding why certain things are priced the way they are?
Somewhat. Look, the other day I was looking at, oh my God, what is this thing name? Oh, what do you call it? This show where creatives go and sell their ideas. Not
Shark Tank?
Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And there was a Nigerian designer and he was presenting a garment, beautiful garment, and his selling point was gorgeous, bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Awesome. So they started asking him about the financial part of it. And he was saying, this is what it's going to cost me to create it, and this is what I'm selling at. And you know what the investor said? Something is wrong with that. Because in fashion, the amount you're paying
Yeah.
to manufacture the garment, or in addition to fabric cost, manufacturing cost, the amount you're paying to manufacture the garment,
Yeah.
in fashion to make it workable, you times that times 3.
Correct. To make a profit.
And that's how the world works.
That is so
You feel
true.
you could tell a client,
No, because what happens,
Right?
you know what happens with the clients? Because they see it online for a cheaper price and they come to you. In Mwanza, can you make this for me?
That is why I like to see these videos on TikTok and YouTube when they do what I ordered versus
What I got? Yeah.
right? And when they buy these dresses from these sketchy websites,
Yeah,
and
we
then
know.
when they try it on, because the prices might be cheap, then order it. If it's cheaper that way, then
Just
order
order
it.
it.
Why are you at me?
But then you also have the flip side to that,
Mm-hmm.
where they go and they see these designer clothing item
Mm-hmm.
for these outrageous prices, and then they want you to make it for the little couple Guyanese dollars. Because that
So-
happens. I see that right here.
Well, the percentage of people who come to me and with a sketch or with a picture and say, this is what I want, it's kind of like 2%.
Oh, really?
2%, because that's known. You understand? I've had people who meet me brought designer clothing, local made Guyanese designer clothing, and say, yo, Mwanza, I like this.
Can you make it?
I said, I remember this one instance. I was shopping fabric and a girl showed me something really nice, and I said, oh, this is Keisha, please. The person said, who's Keisha? I'm like, a local designer. The person said, okay, can you make this to me? I'm like, oh no, I can get your Keisha number. And so I put the phone, find Keisha number, get your Keisha number.
Yeah.
Just
Go to the source and get it.
Come on.
Yeah.
Because had I had done that, I'm infringing on what somebody might do to me.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah, you
go to the designer, bro.
Just go to the designer.
Go support the designer, But I must give Guyanese their props. They have been an influx of support to the local fashion industry.
Yes.
When I look at 5 years ago, it's not the same now. The support is much huger now. People understand the importance of custom and on the, like, one of the problems I get with my client, they would say, oh, Mwanza, I don't like to buy your clothing. And I was like, why? Oh, because when I wear it, like, there's no place worthy enough to wear it again. So, but I'm happy to those persons who have been following and supporting designers
Yeah.
in the whole.
Me too.
In the whole. I am just happy, and I can't wait to see, Guyanese designers spread their wings at New York Fashion Week and Milan.
All the major fashion shows
and these
around the
big
world.
Shows. It's about time. It's about
it's
time.
about
And
time.
again, from traveling, what I've noted, I've attended New York Fashion Week. I've attended, as of recently, GTCO Fashion Weekend in Nigeria. And you see fantastic designers, you see fantastic pieces.
Yes.
And one of the things I always do, I always try to compare my work and others.
Yeah.
And the only issue is, like, even not only my work, but other Guyanese designer, is just the opportunity that we don't have.
Yeah, you don't have. Yeah, you need opportunity for.
You understand? Like when you look just to do New York Fashion Week, you're looking at sometimes 30, 35, 45,000 US just to
Yes.
present a 13-piece collection.
Yes.
15-piece goes into the 50 to 65,000
Yeah.
just to have.
It's not affordable for most
It's
designers.
not affordable.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if Guyanese people do have the money, that's a down payment for our entire house.
Yeah.
And that's how we see it. But the fashion industry is a money-making industry, and you have to invest
You have to.
a lot.
But even here, even like having a fashion show right here in
a
Guyana
lot.
costs a lot of money.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And that's why sometimes like, I've heard people call me a diva. Because, and I saw a friend made a post about it, a friend in Trinidad. He said, Jabari, big up yourself, Jabari. He said, fashion is not entertainment. You don't call me to ask me to present a collection for you at your event for entertainment, and then you clap me and say thank you. Who is paying the dry cleaning fee? Who is paying to transport these garments? Who is paying to invest into this collection? And I don't want to come over as being silly, but this is a business.
It is a business.
This is a business. Even after that show, you have to look at who is doing the dry cleaning is very
It's very expensive,
expensive.
especially with garments. You got to be careful with those garments. Yeah.
There's certain clothing that you use at fashion shows you can't reuse. You gotta give it away.
Yeah.
So it's an incurring expense, right? So like there's some shows I do, and then there's some shows I don't, because like I'm not going to invest.
You invest a lot of money.
Oh my God.
You have to invest a lot of money to get the quality of fabric that you need, and then to put that garment together. It's a lot of money for a fashion
It's a lot.
show.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. But I love that more persons are going to designers to get pieces made for their weddings,
I
their
am happy.
birthdays, graduations,
I
any
am
special
happy.
occasions.
I am so happy.
Yeah, I love seeing it.
I am so happy.
So the last question I got for you, Mwanza, which global celebrity would you like to see in a Mwanza piece?
Which global celebrity?
You want to give me one or two?
Let me think who best fits
Give me a male and then give me a female.
the Mwanza aesthetic.
Yes. Well, you can always.
So I've been seeing this lady recently and how weird and quirky she is. Tabitha, I think she's an author.
Tabitha, an author.
Tabitha, oh God. That's one. Erica Badu.
That's a good one. I think she definitely fits her aesthetic.
Oh my God, this other girl from Marley Child Mother. Turn your lights down.
Lauren
low.
Hill.
Lauren Hill.
Yeah, Lauren Hill also fits the aesthetic, the Mwanza Glenn aesthetic.
That kind of thing. That aesthetic of people who are proud to let their identity out.
Yeah, let the African roots show.
That kind of thing, I like the street sense that they bring to whatever they wear.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. As in terms of male, who? Well, sometime last year, up to the other day. Well, no. Last year I did it, but I saw some photos recently. We did some shirts for the Prime Minister of Dominica.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Yeah, he was here for a few days, and we did some shirts for him. And I was scouting his page randomly.
And you saw
and
them?
I was like, oh my God,
Look at you. You're
And
all
when
over.
I did that shirt, I was in Dominica like about 2 weeks before that, meeting him. So, so we have a few celebrities we're wearing our clothing already.
That's really good. That's really good. That's a big achievement.
But yes, man. The small wins, it's always a thing to.
Yeah. You can. Ones I want to say thank you so much for coming on the
Awesome.
show.
It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure, man.
This was good.